What up, y'all? This DJ Illmatic back once again, coming at you live and direct, straight from my crib, USA, daily operation, episode 20. Here to chop it up with you about all the goings on in the gaming world today. Electric relaxation. Spent most of my time still playing through The Witcher 3. I'm not going to talk a lot about it. I think I'm rounding towards the close of the game. I can't say for certain, but in terms of the story, it seems like it's coming towards an end, although I'm only at level 25, and there are some side missions that are level 35, so there may be a lot more left. I'm not exactly sure, but it feels like I'm coming close to the end. One recommendation I would have for anyone real quick on The Witcher 3, I encourage everyone to turn off the music and just have the ambient sounds of the world. It is so much more enjoyable, although there's one thing that is getting on my nerves at this point, and that is, and it's part of the Witcher lore, the Witchers are looked down upon, and so many of the villages, many of the people you come across, they actually spit at you or on you. I'm not sure. Hopefully it's at you. It's a lot better than on you. But you can hear that sound. Now, you hear it with the music on as well, but with the music off, you hear it very clearly. And after hours and hours of hearing that, I want to go Charles Manson on the entire game world and just kill everyone, because there's nothing more disrespectful, very few things more disrespectful than actually spitting at or on someone. And so every time I walk into a village and hear that, I become very upset at these NPCs and want to take my sword out and do what Witchers do. Also spent some time this week with the Elder Scrolls Online. Now, for those unaware, this is an MMO that has been out on computers for PC for about a year now. Finally came to consoles this past week and got a chance to play it. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have a huge MMO pedigree. Basically, the only MMOs I've played are DC Universe Online and Neverwinter on the Xbox One. And even though there are all kinds of people in the world, I've never really teamed up. Well, occasionally I'll team up with random people for certain missions, but for the most part I play MMOs by myself. And my understanding of an MMO is it's filled with all kinds of quests, and basically you just level up your character, unlock new skills, look for better gear, and continue to grind through quests. And that's the extent of my knowledge of MMOs and what I do when I play. I'm actually that might not be the ultimate goal for an MMO, but that's the way I play them. I was drawn to the Elder Scrolls Online simply because it's an Elder Scrolls game. And all those things I believe an MMO are, what an MMO is to me. I was perfectly fine. I'm excited about doing those things in the Elder Scrolls universe. And so that's why I was looking forward to the Elder Scrolls Online. And so far, what limited time I've spent with it has delivered that. It definitely feels like an Elder Scrolls game. From the leveling system to where you unlock attributes or you build up your attributes by using them. So the more you use a one-handed weapon, the better you get at that, and you can unlock more skills, so on and so forth. To the various items you can pick up. It feels like an Elder Scrolls game very early on. Now, like I said, I'm early into the game, so whether that feeling maintains all the way through, I do not know. But so far, it feels like an Elder Scrolls game, and that's honestly all I wanted. A couple of issues I do have. The inventory system I do not care for because it doesn't really tell you how much anything weighs, or at least from what I can see. And so you never know. It's kind of hard to balance your inventory when you don't know how much something weighs, and all your components, all the things, whether it's food that you're going to mix together to make things, or flours that you mix together, all the stuff you mix together seems like it weighs a lot more than it should and takes up a lot more space in your inventory than it should. Also, it includes weapon degradation, so the more you use a weapon, the more it deteriorates. I have never been a fan of this in any game. I understand it adds a level of realism. The more you use a weapon, it's going to break down and deteriorate if you don't take care of it. I understand that, but once again, this is realism at the sake of fun. It's just a pain in the butt to have to worry about always repairing your weapon. especially if you want to go out and do quests and you don't have a repair kit with you. Now you have to stop and go back and get that weapon repaired. So I've never been a fan of this in any game. It's included in the Elder Scrolls, and so that's one thing I do not care for. Also, it seems like there's a lack of gold, or at least all the gold I'm getting now is from doing missions. Any weapons or anything else I trade in, I don't really get a whole lot of gold for that. I'm not sure of the reasoning behind that. Like I said, I'm early in the game. If the reason is they want you to focus more on doing quests, I'm fine with that. If the reason is they would like you to spend money to buy gold, that I would not be happy with. But I can't say either way because I'm not far enough into the game to speak on that. Now, there have been issues with the game. I pre-ordered online and had it downloaded, ready to play at 11 o'clock Monday night. And they were having server issues. I tried to get on for like 30 minutes or so and could not log in. So I gave up Monday night. And then yesterday playing it, I was able to get on and play, but several instances when I tried, once when I died and had to respawn, and another time when I tried to fast travel, it basically got me stuck in a loading screen, and it said the load is taking longer than usual or longer than expected, something to that effect. And I think both times I waited for about 10 minutes for the game to load, and then I just ended up closing the application. Now, I'm not happy with this. Now, people say this is kind of par for the course for an MMO, but to me, this is unforgivable. Now, anyone who rocks with Illmatic knows I often give developers a lot of breaks, and so minor frame rate drops or minor bugs or glitches, these things don't bother me. I understand it's kind of acceptable. You can't be perfect in everything, and so I give developers a break when it comes to things like that, but I cannot forgive game breaking issues. When you cannot play the game you just spent money on, that is when I have a problem. That is unforgivable, completely unexcusable. Hopefully it gets better over the next coming days and weeks, but it really bothered me that every time I've had to quit playing the Elder Scrolls so far, it's not because I was ready to get off or tired of playing it. It was because I was forced off by basically being stuck in an endless loop of a loading screen. I'll continue to play through this. Like I said, I'm probably going to jump back on The Witcher. I want to go ahead and finish that up before I really delve into the Elder Scrolls Online. But if you are an Elder Scrolls fan, this definitely has an Elder Scrolls feel, and so I would recommend you at least look into it. Maybe wait a week or two or a month or so until the bugs clear themselves up. But it definitely has that Elder Scrolls feel. All right, y'all. Buck them down. This is a segment of the show. We buck down the foolishness and the ignorance in the gaming world today. Now, the big news last week was the Fallout 4 trailer was finally revealed. And I have to say, my jaw hit the ground. I am completely stoked for this game. This is the game I'm looking the most forward to. Hopefully, I'm hoping and praying at E3 they announce it comes out this year. That's all I really want from E3. If they announce this is coming out this year, I'll be completely happy and satisfied with anything that comes after that. However, there were some people who criticized the Fallout 4 trailer primarily for its graphics. And the big complaint I heard was people were not happy with the animations in the trailer. And this brings me to the topic today, and that is graphics in games. Now, graphics in games gets way too much credit. There's too much emphasis put on graphics when, quite frankly, it's the least important aspect of a game. If the graphics made or broke a game, then if we look at the Xbox One and the PS4, the best two looking games on those systems are The Order and Rise. And both of those look drop dead gorgeous. They're absolutely stunning. But that stunning graphic fidelity could not save either one of those games from all of the flaws it had in other departments. And so this is why graphics are the least important aspect of a game. Gameplay is far more important. Control, story, all these things are far more important than graphics. This is why games like Shovel Knight and Axiom Verge, two of the best games I've played recently, these are 8-bit style games, so obviously they do not live up to today's standard of graphics. But because the gameplay is so fun and addictive, they are amazing games. And so the question is, why are such an importance placed on such an unimportant factor of a game. And primarily it's the visual aspect. It's the easiest thing for us to judge. Graphics are the one thing in a game that we can actually judge the game based on without ever actually playing the game. We can judge a game's graphics based on a gameplay trailer or a video or a commercial. And so because of that, developers, publishers, going back to the Nintendo era, they have always emphasized graphics. This is how you sell your game, because this is what you can present to the audience in a commercial and an advertising spot. So if you go all the way back to the Nintendo and then the Sega Genesis and showing off their graphical prowess, all the way through up to today and the fuss about 1080p and 720 and all this, graphics are the easiest way to get across your game, or the one thing you can advertise on your game that people can actually see and judge your game upon. But once again, it's not all that important. I'm reminded of a Temptation song, "Beauty's only skin deep." The graphics cannot sustain a game. They cannot make up for flaws in the other aspects. If you look back at your favorite games of all time, I guarantee you most of your favorite games of all time, you can pick out several other games that looked far better. So it wasn't the graphics that made these games your favorite games of all time. And even in the rare exception that it was that the graphics were better than any other game of the time, the example I think of is The Last of Us is one of my favorite games ever, and it was definitely the pinnacle of graphics last generation. That being said, once again, beauty's only skin deep, so that graphical prowess is not going to sustain that game. And so in the next year or two, I mean, even now we see games that look so much better than The Last of Us. By the next console generation, The Last of Us is not going to look nearly as good as games look. And so that's not what's going to sustain that game as a classic. When we look back at Super Mario Bros. 3 or The Legend of Zelda or whatever classic game that we absolutely love, it wasn't the graphics that made that game great, because the graphics never age well. It's all the other things, the gameplay mechanics, the story, the controls, all those other things that truly make a game great. Now don't get me wrong, if a game is beautiful too, I'm all for that, but we have to understand that graphics are the icing on the cake. They don't make the cake itself. And so games can be great having subpar graphics. And now Fallout 4, I'm not saying Fallout 4 had subpar graphics. I thought the world looked amazing. I can see some of the criticisms about the animation, but anyone who's a Fallout fan, when I played Fallout 3, I wasn't, not to say it was an ugly game or it didn't look good, but what drew me to that game and what made me enjoy that game so much was not the graphics. And so when I was looking forward to Fallout 4, as I am, not once in my head was I looking forward to the new Fallout 4 because I thought it was going to be the next graphical powerhouse game. I absolutely care nothing about that. I love Fallout because of the world it creates, the story it tells, and how it allows me to go into the world and do whatever it is I want to do. And so we need to quit fussing and nitpicking about graphics and focus on what's important about in a game. And that's, does it play well? Does it have a good story? Do the mechanics hold up? This is what's most important, and quit focusing on this surface, this superficial look of a game. All right, that's all the time we got for this week's episode of Daily Operation. It's been DJ Illmatic, Daily Operation, episode 20. Once again, check us out at 8bitchimp.com for all that gaming flavor you savor, 8bitchimp.com. Also, check me out on iTunes. If you want to get the podcast in audio form only, you can check me out on iTunes. Search 8bitchimp.com and then find Daily Operation on iTunes. Subscribe to the podcast there. Check me out on YouTube, DJ_Illmatic. Subscribe to my channel, like my videos. Also, check me out on Twitch, DJ_Illmatic. We in the middle of the summer of gaming. All summer, I'm gaming every single day on Twitch, so check me out. And also hit me up on Twitter, DJ Illmatic23, no space, no underscore, all together. Get at me at one or all three of them joints, and I will get back at you. Once again, fat shout to my Organized Gamers family. Fat shout to everybody out there showing love to DJ Illmatic, watching the videos, liking the videos. This been DJ Illmatic, Daily Operation. We out, y'all. One.